I'm Marcus Hill.
And I'm Elena Reyes.
800. In a single year, 800 American companies cut or suspended the dividends they were paying their shareholders. If those dividends were your retirement income, that year they were not. And the question this episode is really about isn't whether that can happen again. It's what your dividend actually is when it doesn't.
So, what a dividend really is in plain English, and the part almost no one is telling you about the income strategy hiding inside it.
First, let's name what most retirees believe about dividend stocks, because the belief is not crazy. It just isn't complete. Belief 1. Dividends are passive income. They land in the account. You didn't have to sell anything to get them. Belief 2. They're safer than selling shares, because you're never touching principal. Belief 3. High-yield dividend stocks let a retiree live on the income without ever drawing down the portfolio. Each of those beliefs has a kernel of truth, but here's what's actually happening. When a company pays you a dividend, a company worth $1 a share pays a 4-cent dividend. The next morning, that share is worth 96 cents, and you have 4 cents in cash. The total value of your position did not change. The company didn't give you anything new. It moved 4 cents from one column to another.
Dividends aren't a bonus payment. They're your own capital being handed back to you on someone else's schedule.
And it's that schedule, not the yield number, that matters most for a retiree, because the schedule is what you don't control.
Question for the retirees watching. If your dividend stock cut its payout 92% tomorrow, would you still call it a safe income strategy? Let us show you what this looks like with real numbers. Consider this hypothetical. Patricia, age 67, $600,000 in retirement assets with 80% of it in high dividend stocks averaging a 4.2% yield. She calls it her paycheck.
600,000 at 4.2% generates $25,200 a year. Patricia builds her budget around it. Then 908 US companies cut their dividends. Across 2008 and 2009, Patricia's portfolio takes a 22% income hit. Her paycheck drops to $19,656.
She did the thing she'd been told was conservative. She didn't sell shares. She didn't time the market. She just held her dividend payers. And the income still left her. I never sold a share. The market did the selling for me. That feeling is real. We understand it.
But here's the math Patricia had not been told. Patricia's composition put 60% of her portfolio in 3 sectors: financials, utilities, energy. Those were also the 3 sectors that took the deepest cuts. She didn't do anything wrong. The mechanics of building income around yield pulled her composition there before she ever picked a fund. A few things worth saying up front. Dividend stocks aren't broken. Many of them are excellent businesses owned by sensible long-term investors. The issue is what happens when you build your income around the yield instead of the holding. Here are 5 mechanics to understand before you do. 1. Concentration. High-yield investing tends to pull a portfolio toward utilities, REITs, energy, and financials. It underweights the sectors that drove most of the last 20 years of total return. 2. Cuts. The number we opened with, 800 companies, came out of a financial crisis stress test. The point isn't that this happens every year. It's that when you depend on dividend income, your exposure to that kind of year is concentrated, not diversified away. 3. Loss of income control. The company decides when the dividend pays and how much. You can't defer income to a lower tax year. You can't accelerate it to a higher need year. The schedule isn't yours. 4. Tax drag. Dividends are taxable events you didn't initiate. REIT dividends are taxed as ordinary income, which pushes some retirees into higher brackets they didn't need to enter. 5. IRMA, unneeded dividend income, can push Medicare premium surcharges higher. The retiree is paying for income they would not have chosen to receive that year. 5 mechanisms, same root. When you treat dividends as income, you've outsourced the timing decision to companies that don't know you're retired. And now, a word from our sponsor.
Built so the people who love you can find it without you. Find it at thomasclarkadvisor.com.
And we're back. Same starting point, different decision. Consider this hypothetical. Ron, same age, same 600,000, same need, $25,000 of annual income. But Ron's portfolio is diversified across US stocks, international stocks, and bonds at the index level. He withdraws 3.5% systematically every quarter from whatever asset is most appreciated and most tax efficient that quarter.
In 2009, Ron's portfolio also drops, about 20%, but Ron isn't dependent on dividend cash. He withdraws 25,000 from his bond allocation, which is actually up that year. To rebalance back to target, he buys more equity at the lower price. His share count goes up during the worst year. By 2014, 5 years out, Patricia's portfolio has clawed back to about 580,000. Ron's is at 740. Same starting amount, same 5 years. Ron didn't win because dividends are bad. He won because the timing decision stayed his. So if dividends as income strategy is the problem, what's the alternative? It's what Ron was doing. It has a name, total return investing with systematic withdrawal, 4 pieces. 1. Diversify across asset classes, U.S. stocks, international stocks, bonds, real assets, not by chasing yield, by owning the breadth of the market. 2. Set a sustainable withdrawal rate, typically 3.5 to 4% of your starting portfolio adjusted for inflation. Draw it on your schedule, not the company's. 3. Each quarter, withdraw from the asset class that's most appreciated or most tax efficient that quarter. The choice is yours. 4. Periodically rebalance back to your target mix. When markets drop, the rebalance buys at the lower price. Patricia couldn't do that. Ron did it without thinking about it. Now, total return investing has demands of its own. The rebalance only works if you actually do it during the year that looks worst. The withdrawal rate is academic guidance. It has held up across decades of data, but it is not a guarantee. The mechanism is sound. The discipline is what most people underestimate. Total return investing isn't exotic. It's the unglamorous version of taking back the timing decision. So here's where we land. Dividend stocks have a long history. Some of them are durable companies that have paid shareholders for decades. Owning some of them inside a diversified portfolio is reasonable, and we are not arguing otherwise. But we don't think the question is whether you should own dividend stocks. We think the question is whether dividends should be your retirement income strategy. Those are very different questions. The first has many right answers. The second has almost none. If this was useful, subscribe.
Join us again next time on Anchor for more retirement news in plain English.
Thanks for watching.